may walk back some things, but I'm also going to double down on some things. I just want to get it out of the way. I may walk back some things, a little bit of things, because the rewatch, like I said, the rewatch did put us like, you know what?
You know,
I have to change my opinion on some things that I said in regards to the series in itself. But it did show me like, no, I want to double down on some stuff as well. But we can get to that. But welcome everybody. This is episode 41 of the Otaku Summit podcast. We are back again. I am your boy, one fourth of the Otaku Summit, Kuma, alongside my boy Omar, aka Bruce Wayne, aka Vengeance, as he has it labeled today. I don't know
Yeah,
why, but hey,
I am
that's a
Vengeance.
personal reason. He's a special character. Vicky and April aren't with us today. April is not feeling well, and Vicky is currently traveling, so we will miss them. But in place of them, we have a very, very special guest back to the pod once again for a very special episode. Holding down Bay Entertainment, we have Leroy with us. Everybody, welcome Leroy to the pod. What's
blessings,
up, my guy?
blessings,
What's good? What's
blessings,
good? What's
blessings,
good?
blessings,
Welcome
What's
back,
blessings,
my guy.
blessings,
yes, welcome
blessings,
back. What's been up
man.
since the last time you've been here, man? What's good? What's good?
Uh, boy, a lot, man, a lot. We've been
Uh,
reshuffling on our side. We have
mm,
obviously more content on the way coming for the YouTube. We stay on
nice,
Twitch, but
nice,
just working,
nice,
man, just working, not too much.
nice,
Had
nice,
to
Nice.
uh had to watch some refresher videos in preparation for what was today.
Yes,
Now
yes,
I
yes,
watched
yes.
we were supposed to do this like 2 weeks ago, so the stuff was fresh then and I didn't refresh
Uh-huh,
since
uh-huh,
then.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
feel
yeah.
like I still got it. It's
No,
still
no, no.
fresh
Trust me.
enough. It's
Once
still
you
Yeah.
fresh enough.
once it's there, you don't ever forget it.
Oh
Once you there, you
yeah.
Yeah.
don't ever
Oh
forget it.
yeah. Oh yeah.
You just get a
hmm
love for it again. Cause I went to the museum. I've been going through the same thing. I've been taking a bit of a binge down memory lane. For those who don't know, we're continuing a conversation we started in the last podcast in which we had Leroy and Devon on, and we kind of got into a bit of One Piece compared to Hunter x Hunter in the two series and where they stacked up as being arguably some of the peak in the shonen genre, arguably some of the most beloved work that we have out right now. And so we just wanted to continue that and to dive a bit deeper in there. So I've taken a bit of a binge and I got reminded of a few things. I will say I got reminded of a few things and I'm happy I took this binge, especially because it's early on in the series. But before we get to that though, Leroy, I just want you to tell the people a bit more about what Bay Entertainment is and what you guys have to offer, the content space, the anime space, the streaming space. Like, what are you guys about?
Ah, of course, of course, of course. So, as usual, I just preface it by saying, boy, it's just a group of niggas who like playing games and talking shit.
That's all
But
it
it's
ever
more
needs to
than
be.
that. That's the core. But
I feel you.
Can't
I
beat
feel you.
that.
that's how it really
Yeah,
that's
no,
how it got
yeah.
started. That's how it got started. So we just figured, when we sitting down, it's like 4 or 5 of us when we playing games on Saturday, Sunday, whenever have you. It's just a good time, man. It's a good feeling, and in the middle of the whole COVID, what's not, niggas is just like, man, why not? Let's try stream and see how it is.
I don't like when niggas
Fell
just
in
ain't
love
got
with
nothing
it.
to do.
Then we started having, the conversations that you and your boys have all the time on WhatsApp, all the
Right,
time
right.
when you all link up on different shows, different anime, different games. It's like, boy, let's record this and like get more people in on the conversation. So
hmm
we just make content right now so that people can feel how we feel talking and just enjoying these things that we love: anime, gaming, tech, movies, comics, all the nerdy shit that's cool now. But aside
True,
from
Right.
that,
true.
we got to
Right.
we got some more stuff coming on the way. I don't want to say too much
All right.
yet,
All right. Secret things.
but
I like secret
but
things.
but we might be
Is
having
it?
some tangibles. We might be having some
Ah,
physical things coming
Next
Ooh,
pretty
door.
soon.
Okay.
the
Possibly some
merch coming.
services. I know what I can't say for sure, but
Mm, all right.
I can
All
say
right.
one thing: if you get in that Discord, you can stay on top of whatever we got going on, and it coming soon. 2022 ain't get done before you see some new things from Blade. So keep your eyes
Awesome.
out for
And
that.
we will definitely make
Like,
sure to shout out the Discord and to get people involved and to get people in there. Thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate that. Now, on to
The meat and
why we here.
potatoes.
Yes, the meat and
The meat
potatoes.
and
The
potatoes.
why, the nitty gritty, the why we here.
hmm
Hunter x Hunter, as I like to call it, and One
Mm.
Piece.
oh Jesus.
You know,
Togashi and Oda.
you know, it could be a
From
good
yes,
discussion when
go
the
ahead.
episodes start with the
Uh-huh.
man saying, "I might have to walk back a couple of things." That's
And
when you know it
it's
could be
true.
a good
It's true.
episode.
It's true. As I watched, right? As I watched,
Mm.
I
hmm
cannot deny. As a shonen, Hunter is very captivating, and it does grip you and it brings you in.
And it
It,
doesn't let go.
it doesn't. You're right. No, it gets you in that frame of mind where it's like I have to keep watching the next episode, and it doesn't feel like it's drawn out. Like it doesn't feel like
Mm-hmm.
you're just a draw. Like you have to get so many episodes, and that's
Mm-hmm.
actually bringing me to a very interesting point. Um, to what I wanted to make about Tagashi and Oda.
Mm-hmm.
However, I am also here to double down on a few things
Okay.
as well. But
Okay.
before we get, I say, Amar, you got the floor because Amar's been waiting for this for a while, and he's been very passionate about this. He's been the one that's really been advocating for this discussion. So I'm gonna let him take the floor first, and then
Mm-hmm.
we just chime in after.
All right.
Okay. So for the viewers out there, like what Javon said, Hunter is a type of series that once it gets that grip on you, it doesn't let go. Um,
Mhm.
the character work, uh, how meticulous everything from the world to the battle mechanics, like how well crafted Togashi took time to make sure that everything there isn't any plot holes, there isn't anything to be left to desire. Just the amount of care that Togashi has taken with his magnum opus known as Hunter x Hunter. It's just astonishing. I've never seen this done in any shonen before in my life. Like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people already
Mm-hmm.
know Togashi for his character work because of a series such as Yu Yu Hakusho, but I feel like he took it to the next level with this one because
Mm-hmm.
it's not just well, let me not say villains because some of them like they have villain tendencies, but they just more so antagonists. So yeah, some
Antagonist,
of the
yeah.
yeah the
Fair,
antagonists.
yeah,
Not it's not just
yeah.
the antagonist
Fair,
who
fair,
has great writing attached to them. It's
fair.
also the what's the word for a triple protagonist? Because I know two protagonists is deuterogonists, and then there's another one for three. Because Hunter is a special series that it doesn't just have one protagonist; it
Oh
has
no,
three.
no, 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 no.
Mm.
So yeah, like the work Togashi does with his side characters, the main characters,
Amazing.
is just
Amazing.
masterful, masterful.
Amazing.
I'll even take you a step forward and say Hunter, at least very early on, has no main direction because we get introduced to Hunter to the eyes of gone, and him in this desire to become a hunter, to pass the hunter
Mm-hmm.
exam and follow in his father's footsteps, and to understand, well, why did my dad choose to become a hunter over raising me, which in itself is a different discussion,
It's
but
very wise,
and
very
it
wise.
takes us on this ride, and then it just keeps going and going to where he has different motivations. Um, like I said, the bits like currently it's him wanting to fight Hisoka. So he could, because of an event that happened in the Hunter exam. So, like you said, it has no real one antagonist, and it doesn't have any real one story point. To say like as with One Piece, and you're with Luffy in his journey of becoming the pirate king, and then it just the world itself fills you in and engulfs you onto what that journey looks like and where that leads and where that's leading you. So that kind of brought me to, as I was watching, I realized two things in regards to Oda and Tagashi, and it's that
Mm-hmm.
with Tagashi in regards to Hunter, you can tell that this is a veteran that is writing his second story. Like his isn't his first time. So you
Mm-hmm.
get introduced to the story, but it doesn't take you long to get engulfed into the story. It doesn't take you long to let you understand, well, this is what's going on, and to create something that is like, okay, I want to see more. Whereas with
Mhm.
Oda, this is One Piece is his first work. This is his first introduction to the anime world, to the community,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone at large that's reading his work. So of course, with him, it's more of a building block. Now, this is where I want to double down in my statement and say I still find One Piece
Mm-hmm.
in its entirety, as you look at it from start to beginning, because I was analyzing both starts of the series, and like I said, you
Mm-hmm.
can tell there's a difference in this is a veteran and this is a person that's still starting out.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at it, because a lot of people, and it's funny, and I'm happy because I had a conversation with someone, well, at least I asked the questions to someone who never started One Piece and their reason behind it. It's like, okay, why? What was your reason? And it's like the pacing of the show at the start, which to an extent I agree with. I confess if you compare it to Hunter, but even then, and I as I look back at it, it was needed
Mhm.
because if you look at it, One Piece is this big grand journey of
Mm-hmm.
this boy aspiring to be a pirate to unlock this hidden mystical treasure that was left years ago by the most renowned pirate in the world. So of course we have to go through building blocks and steps of him forming a crew, creating a bond with this crew, and then going on this journey from a vast sea of countries to countries along the way that's taking you and engulfing you and giving you the story of everything that's going on to why him discovering One Piece, the people he meets along the way. And this is why we hold Oda as such an incredible world builder. And so for me, the differences that puts, because in reality to me, I came to I at the end of it all, I also came to the conclusion that Togashi and Oda aren't too different from each other, and their works
Mm-hmm.
aren't too different from each other either.
Mm-hmm.
But what does it for me at One Piece, Oda was able to construct a story in a world and a set of characters that not only engulfed you, but made you feel as though you were a part of this crew. You
Mm-hmm.
were a part of
Mhm.
the journey in which Luffy gets introduced to the people that he's eventually going to be on this crew with. We were there for that. We were there for when
Mm-hmm.
he eventually construct this crew, and we're watching
Mm-hmm.
this bond happen.
Yeah.
I don't think any other manga author, in my humble opinion, has been able to create something. Because a lot of people would feel like, oh, you're just watching One Piece because or you're just invested, or because it may be popular, so you're just gonna like, no.
Mm-hmm.
Oda made you love these characters to the point fundamentally they feel like your family as well. It's almost like you become Luffy in a sense,
Mm-hmm.
and these people are not, you have a mass connection to them. So now you want to see where everything else goes. You want to see how this story unfolds. You want to see their like One Piece to me brings another level of joy and excitement and rejuvenation and a youthful energy to you
Mm-hmm.
that other shonens don't do. Now, Hunter is great. Hunter is amazing. Don't get me wrong, but I do feel like there's a double meaning to that when I say Hunter. When you say Hunter is also peak shonen, I also feel like it's very stereotypical shonen in its own right, in its own way. To whereas Gon, what did I say? This is where I go and say back. They aren't too different. Gon and Luffy, I feel, aren't two different individuals as well. Gon is that individual, that main character as well. you can take in tropes and be like, oh, he figures out the stuff as main characters do. He goes through a process of I just want to be strong as main characters do. And I don't want this to sound like, oh, this is a knock on it. No, because it does all of that very well in its sense. But an explanation why I feel One Piece takes a bit of a higher meaning to me, because it's just not about like, oh, I'm following Gon, I'm trying to see what's his next motivation or what else is he up to, or like, okay, how are you going to grow and straight and is that. No, with this, I'm seeing a family connect, bond, grow with each other, take on different things together, travel the world, an immersive world that I can see myself in. And it's like that's a different feeling for me compared to Hunter x Hunter. Like with Hunter x Hunter, I'm just excited to see, um in terms of these next fights, like, oh, what's the power gun? But now with Hunter, Nana's beautifully done. Like Nana's beautifully done. Like in terms, like, so that's the two differences with world building and immersing you in the world. What is without a doubt creating a power system, and a believable power system, and one that you can say like has no faults, no flaws. Hunter x Hunter all the way.
Uses
But
math.
right, like
It
it
uses
does, like it goes,
mathematics.
it goes, it
Mm-hmm.
goes very in depth. But for me, I like I said, I still have it. Not only that I get rejuvenated with Hunter, it also made me appreciate One Piece a lot more.
Okay.
That's so
Okay.
that's my thought to that.
All right. You
Okay.
want to go? You want to go, Leroy, or you want me to get this?
I'll jump in for now, and then you could jump in.
Okay.
So in terms of the comparison between the two, I completely get what you're saying, Kuma. Especially in terms of the feeling you get with One Piece as opposed to other manga of that type.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a part of the mangaka's intention too, because I think Oda in crafting One Piece, like when he made Romance Dawn, was to make a grand adventure that you feel like you're following along in, as opposed to just reading.
Mhm.
But with Hunter x Hunter, I think that's when it gets to the world building, and
Mhm.
I'm on the fence with the world building aspect of it, because on the one hand you have Oda, masterful world builder, excellent character development, but when you look at what Tagashi was able to do with such a small, so we saw Luffy go across the whole East Blue, the whole Grand Line, the majority of the New World. In Hunter x Hunter, they didn't even make it out of this lake yet.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even make it outside of this tiny speck of the entire world. And we're
Mm-hmm.
just so amazed by what Tagashi just managed to build in there,
Mm-hmm.
to the point that when they actually decide to set sail and like, oh, we going over here, years later, people are still theorizing on what the fuck they're gonna find when they go out there. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I think the sentimentality, while it isn't something that could objectively be measured, it does have an effect on how people are gonna view it. Which, in all honesty, the sentimentality I feel is the only thing for me that pushes One
Mhm.
Piece
Mhm.
above
Mhm.
Hunter x Hunter, because they are close.
Yeah, I know. I
For
agree.
me, they are
I
super
agree.
close.
I agree.
But when you look at when you consider the crafting of the world, the crafting of the characters, I mean, I have never cared about menial side characters. Like what was the octopus chimera ant, Ikalgo? Was his name
Yeah.
or something like that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Someone like that in One Piece isn't going to play a major role in the overall plot for that arc. Like it's I don't know, but it's like what Tagashi can actually do with anyone,
Mm-hmm.
like anyone. It's just Tagashi could make fodder clutch.
Yeah.
Tagashi has the ability to make fodder a key element of progressing the story.
Mm-hmm.
And his character development, with your comparison of Gon and Luffy, I would actually push back with saying that they're similar because I feel like they are vastly different. Luffy
Mm.
is Luffy is a very straightforward, very transparent, very easygoing, easy to decipher character, whereas Gon is the first time I've seen a child protagonist portrayed as just completely morally ambiguous. Like we tend to assume going to be the good guy, like the hero of the story and stuff, as he's the protagonist. But if
Mhm.
you actually
Fair enough.
analyze Gon's actions throughout the series and some of the choices and decisions and conversations that he isn't really that like what's his name, the chameleon chimera ant.
The
when
chameleon.
when
What is his name?
you know what I mean,
I'm
the
trying
one
to
who
Yeah,
could
but I know what you
I know
camouflage,
what you
mean.
yeah.
mean.
I know what
Yeah,
you mean.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
when he was talking to Gon and he was like, "Wow, you trusted me really easy. Like, why you trust me like that?" And Gon just said without even thinking, he said, "Well, if you was lying, I'd just kill you." This is a child.
No,
Yeah.
I
This
agree
is
with
a
you.
child
I
protagonist.
agree with
So
you.
like, and the fact that
See,
he isn't driven by like a desire for more power or a specific. He literally just wants to find his dad and then have some fun along the way. But anything that like with well, yeah, I guess we don't have to worry about spoilers at this point, but I'm gonna say spoilers ahead of time anyway. But with
just in case.
Kite's death, the fact
Yes.
that this little boy can decide, you know what, fuck it, I don't really care no more, I can just kill you, I can just take it, I'm erasing you. I don't
Mhm.
care what happened to me, but you will not exist at the end of this night. That's heavy. Like that is heavy. And I
Yeah.
don't like Oda can create that degree of weight, but it takes group dynamics. Like it takes the rush on Marineford and the almost successful extraction of Ace and then his eventual death and Luffy finally cracking from all of that. But with Gon, it's like,
It was always there.
nah,
I was
it was
always there.
always he was always
Yeah.
like a monster. He
No,
was
yeah.
always a
That's the
monster.
thing about the going back early too. You see it. That
You
you
see
see it.
it.
Yeah.
You
You
see it.
see it.
Yeah.
It was always there.
Yeah.
Just in the way it was his obsession to face Hisoka and just gradual like, well, I just don't care about I just care about fighting now at this point. Like I
Zero
just fight.
fear of death.
Of course, yeah. And you can and
Zero
some will try to
fear.
put it like that's his childlike innocence as well, playing in there as well. But it's not. Like you said, he's morally ambiguous. And
It's deeper than that.
the
It's like
interesting thing
I.
about it too, you watch the flip between him and Killua. You
Yeah.
kind of watch
Yes.
the flip between him
Yes.
and Killua, and it's obvious,
Yes.
and it was very Tagashi never had, and Tagashi never hit it. Like he always
Mhm.
had that hints of that story element playing in as he watched Gone, and then you see Killua observing certain things. It's like, well, I would have just did this. So now, like he's questioning his morality, and while Gone is slowly just like, well, there is no morality. It's just it is or
Mm-hmm.
it isn't. So, like you said, you killed my friend. Well, now I'm killing you. It's just that's just the way it's gonna be. Or you lie to me. Well, I'll just kill you. Like that's just as it. It's just that or this. So no, I agree with. Like, listen, I agree with you on that point. And I think, well, before Ma goes,
Yeah.
let me walk back one thing because we say it a bit differently. When I said I did say
Uh-huh.
when I said him being a stereotypical shot, that and me saying that too is saying that Oda has taken the shonen tropes, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
and the genre of itself and enhanced it and just taken it in a different aspect, refined it
Mm.
to whereas the tropes are there, but
Yeah.
it's done in a way that doesn't make you feel as though you're being cheated.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you feel as though, well, okay, well, this don't make sense, or it's like,
Mm.
Hmm.
well, you called it to me with the story, but no,
Hmm.
it's there, but it's refined and fine to it, like I said, which
Yeah.
I highly appreciated. Why the biggest walk back I'm going with after revisiting the series, he doesn't have to finish it for it to be a top 10, a highly regarded series. He doesn't.
At all.
He doesn't.
At all.
Everything, everything else at this point is a bonus and just adds to what's already a great series. Um, and your aspect. Well, before I get there, Omar, go ahead, go ahead with your
Well,
point.
I glad that you said that last piece because that's
Uh-huh.
also something I wanted to touch on. But for Hunter,
Yeah.
because one of the things that you always would say to me is that you can't consider Hunter to be the GOAT because it's not. You don't feel like it's completed. They didn't finish yet or whatever, yada
Mm-hmm.
yada yada.
Frequent
But
argument.
after these past few months and just looking back at the series and also watching other people's material on the series as well, I've come to realize that exactly what you said about One Piece, I can say that exact same thing about Hunter, and I'll tell you why. But first, I
Mm,
want to comment on some of the things that you said. In terms of the world building thing, L pretty much he touched on that perfectly in regards to the whole thing with the Dark Continent and the world that we have known until now just being a small speck of the actual like full world of Hunter x Hunter. Like, and that's what I tell a lot of people about this new arc that's coming up now. Like the level of ambition that Togashi is taking on with this is
Insane.
astronomically high. Like
Insane.
I tell a lot of people that I give One Piece world building over everything else. But if Togashi is able to somehow pull this off in the way that I think he will, I have no qualm saying that Hunter is at
Clean
least
sweep.
equal to One Piece in world building.
Clean
But
sweep.
even without that, we have certain locations like Yorkshire City.
Mm-hmm.
What's the name of the city that um the Phantom Jew came from again?
Media,
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 Yeah, Media City. We got the
media
Media
city.
City. The whole concept of Greed Island in itself is something that I thought that was very cool, is because it was created by Jing first of all, and
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
it was just a way to pretty much like test certain hunters and see how they'd be able to survive in like this new landscape and stuff like that. Like everything about that like was pretty cool. Like Togashi has the capabilities to craft a interesting and a very diverse world. It's just that for him, and this is where I say the difference between him and Oda is that Oda, he focuses more on the world building, like creating this world and
Mm-hmm.
telling the story about this world and how it affects the characters. Whereas Togashi, he focuses more on the characters themselves. He takes them to the nth degree and
I agree.
he puts them in situations that completely test them in every sense of the word. And like I said before, I don't think any other manga in the shonen genre has ever done something like this before. Now, the next thing that Javon said that I want to touch on is the comparison between Gon and Luffy.
Uh-huh.
Um, Literally, after we had part one of this conversation, I saw something that completely changed my perspective of Gon again. Because in addition to that morally ambiguous part of his character, a lot of people forget one thing about him, and I understand why, because the Hunter anime didn't really showcase this as well as the manga did, and that's how important Kite was to Gon's
Mm-hmm.
entire
Ah,
journey. Now,
okay.
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people know that Gon wants to find his dad, yes, but
Mm-hmm.
the other aspect of that that I don't think a lot of people realize is that Gon, he like Killua, they sort of have an issue with determining their own self-worth. And
Mm-hmm.
when Gon realized that his dad left him to be this hunter thing or whatever, it wasn't until Kite came to the island to inspire him to come there, because when he first met Kite, Kite basically became to Gon the standard basically. Like Kite was the
Yep.
standard. Like this is who he wanted to be, because
Yep.
not only was Kite a very powerful and a very renowned hunter, but Kite was somebody who had the respect of his own father.
Mm-hmm.
So when Gon set out on his journey, in addition to finding Jing, he also wanted to be a hunter like Kite. He wanted to live
Mm-hmm.
up to the expectations of Kite, because that also would help him in regards to living up to the expectations that he thought his father had on him, basically. So when you look at the Chimera arc again, and you look at why Gon freak out, and then in addition to what you said, Javon, in regards to Hisoka, he wanted to be strong enough to beat Hisoka because he also was trying to emulate that strength that Kai does, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main reason why Gon was so adamant on defeating Hisoka because
No, no.
he wants to gain that strength
Uh,
so he could basically live up to what he thinks is his expectation, what he thinks his dad expectation is of him, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at that, you realize that Gon, like El said, Gon isn't the stereotypical protagonist whatsoever. Like he in addition to being morally ambiguous, this is just a kid who is blinded by he doesn't understand that you can't live your life according to what you think other people expects of you. You can't look at somebody like I even tell this to people in real life. You can't watch what other people doing and get jealous or be envious of that and want that because you don't know what it
sort of
took
what
for them to get there.
Killua understood.
And we all have to go on our own journeys ourselves. And
Mm,
in terms of the word journey itself, that's the main theme of Hunter x Hunter journeys.
Mm-hmm.
You might start your journey and you want to end it in a specific way, or you have like a specific plan for this journey. But like what Jing said in the last episode, they go on. He realized that what was truly important is what he found on the way to where his end destination was. The people he met, the experiences he had, that was what was truly important, and that meant more than his goal, basically. And that is the whole theme of Hunter x Hunter itself. Gone learning to love and enjoy and appreciate all of the little things on the way to his end point. In addition to him not, in addition to him wanting to, in addition to him realizing that he has to be his own man, that he can't live his life trying to emulate other people, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the lesson that he learned at the end of the anime. And that's why I feel like if it was the end there, that'd be perfect because his character arc
I can't
from the
disagree with that.
start
Yeah,
is essentially
yeah.
finished. Now he just has to like
Yep.
figure out what he want to do now. That he
Yep.
that he realized all these lessons.
Yep.
I agree with you.
Yep.
So that's
And
kind
then
of why.
I ain't even touched on Killua.
We ain't even
I
touched
ain't even touched
Kurapika
on
yet.
Killua. I
I
ain't
but
We
touched
ain't
Kurapika
even
yet.
Kurapika is my nick. That's listen. That's a different story.
exactly.
But it's
Eh,
so funny that you said all of that, and this is why again why I say in my rewatch, like I'm learning Oda and Togashi really aren't that similar because with One Piece as well, it's about the journey of this crew and this captain on their way to one specific point. And we've theorized a lot of things, and that being one of the theories in regards when it comes to One Piece, and is that it's just not about what this treasure is at the end, but it's like, what did you
Yeah,
do on your
mm,
ride to get here? And it's
yeah,
like, it's so funny because I feel like the Gon and Kite situation is flipped when it comes to Luffy and Shanks because Shanks for Luffy is that father figure, that person I inspire to be. He is the one that I look up to. And spoiler alert, if you're up to date with the manga, we could potentially get to the point where these two people have to clash and Luffy has to go against the person that he's admired, the person that he's inspired, all to be all his life in order to get to this goal that he is set out to reach. And he is the final obstacle in the way of seeing that. So just like if Togashi pulls off expounding on the world of Hunter x Hunter, I feel if Oda pulls off this confrontation between Luffy and Shanks, I honestly feel there should be no debate or discussion in regards to who Oda is as a writer and a manaka. Like I
Oh,
feel,
I don't think
I
anybody could say that
serious.
Oda isn't a great manga. Like
But
what he
people
has
say it.
done is is
That's my
basically
thing.
unmatchable.
People
yeah.
Like
people say it, and for me, for you to deny the things that Oda does, and here's my thing, and here's
The
why
only people who say it didn't read it. The only people who
Yeah,
say it
I
didn't read it.
agree,
yeah.
or they just hard on just with hating it, and there's nothing else to go about it. Because here's my thing, right? And here's why I've always felt like had that ambition of like Tagashi. We need to see where Tagashi goes with this story, and why I feel Oda deserves all the respect and credit because, like him, we started at a point in One Piece where the world wasn't the big yet. We were in this one sea, and then we
Mm-hmm.
learned that the ground blue. We learned that the ground, like we learned that everything is the sea is vast and big.
Mm,
There are countries way inbound. There are countries that you can't reach by normal means, and he has
mm,
done this for years and years and years, and he's done it successfully. To whereas each place he has gone feels like a new adventure, new excitement. You learn more about the world. You learn more about the characters. You see the characters take on different journeys. You see and I've always appreciated the fact that he has allowed the crew in new spaces to be separate because you allow your crew to experience different journeys within the same adventure and the same landscape and to gain something and to come back as a new individual and to come back with something that enhances the crew and helps the crew to be better as a whole. And that has been always been my thing. Like Oda has done this consistently for me
mm,
in building something, a world that would last, a world that would remain in your memory forever.
mm,
And that's why I say you can't deny the world building, and also why I say him and Tagashi are definitely neck and neck when it comes to being the pinnacle of what it means to be a manga author in this industry. Honestly, like they reign head in head in that regard for me. So
mm,
like I said, like it's the little things for me about One Piece that still bring it up because I love the fact that I was able to connect with this group of characters that I wasn't able to connect with before.
mm,
But obviously with Hunter x Hunter, like y'all have stated, the side characters a lot shine as well. And that's where I say too, where he's fine tuned the shonen genre in terms of like everyone feels like they are a cog, an essential cog to helping motor the story along. No
Mm-hmm.
one character is introduced just to be introduced.
mm,
Like no one character is there just because I just need you to be there to fill out some story beats or to fill out some story areas. Like no, you're essential to it. The same way I feel like when Oda he introduces people, and he is great with the foreshadowing and the callbacks and the
mm,
coming back to a story to where you may go back and say, "Oh shoot, that what happened? So this connects to here. Oh, so that's what we get now." Like
mm,
and that's where you go because you've created such a vast world and such a vast connected world that everything now can intertwine. And I could give you a nugget here, but that don't mean I ain't coming back to the nugget. I can
mm.
let you see this journey now. So when I come back to the nugget, it can make more sense and you can appreciate it much more. So that's my thing. That's
So
definitely my thing. Hmm.
let me that you what you said just now kind of gave me an idea, a metaphor of how to look at how each mangaka approaches their world building and development.
Yeah.
Oda with One Piece is like you getting a new game and starting from the very beginning and then running straight through it.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Tagashi with Hunter x Hunter is like you jumping in the middle of someone's save file and just figuring the shit out and trying to finish it as you go.
Hmm. I like that.
So
I
Yeah.
so
like that.
so with One Piece, you saw progressive steps up until you hit like a major threshold. We had to have the time skip.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they had a big jump and then more progressive steps. With Hunter x Hunter, at any given point, regardless of whatever progress, like they took steps, but there were huge leaps that they needed to make. And there were times where they did not make it. There were times where they absolutely failed.
Yeah.
Like down the road, yeah, there might have been like some payback, or yeah, they may have succeeded at some point, or maybe they never completed it. But with Hunter x Hunter, Tagashi sets it up almost as if there he almost sets it up as if there is no main character. You're just looking at you're just experiencing people in a world
And
and
that's
how
Yeah,
extremely
all
inter-
of these things flesh
yeah,
out.
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, there are
That's
the
a perfect
primary people
analogy.
that
That's
we
yeah,
there
Yeah.
are people that you follow along with. Like, yeah, we follow Gon because that's where he started us. But when you look at I love going back to York New because it I put it slightly above the Chimera Ant arc as my favorite arc.
Hmm.
Obviously prior to Succession War.
uh-huh.
But in York New, when you look at when we followed Gon and Killua throughout York New, they were in way over their heads.
Hmm.
They could have died at
Yeah.
any given
Any
point.
point. At any
At
point.
any given point they could have died.
That's
And
true.
we're just experiencing all of these major players actually like the entire arc was like actually both arcs. York New going into Chimera Ant was like watching a super extended version of Luffy trying to navigate Marineford. It's
Yeah.
just like,
I like that.
bro,
Yes,
there's so
yes,
much shit
yes,
going on. You
yes.
could
Hmm.
have died. You could have died. You
You
was
Hmm.
close to dying.
Yeah.
Like,
mm,
and just so much mystery and just like yeah. So that made me think of that analogy. It's like just jumping into the middle of someone's save progress and
Yeah.
just
yeah.
trying to figure the shit out. You don't know which way to go. You just know, okay, the arrows say this way, so let's see. Let's
Yeah.
see what happens. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but so like what Tagashi was able to do in what? We had 400 something chapters now?
Yeah.
Yeah, 440
It
something.
Well, it about to be 400. Be on 390 right now.
oh yeah,
Oh, we.
if he delivers on the 20, quote unquote, then
Yeah.
we could be at what
Oh
like
yeah.
we could be
You'll
a
be at
little
410. 410.
410.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
could be at 410. So what he's managed to do in about 400 chapters is otherworldly, but it is otherworldly. The fact that
And
you can jump me into the middle of a save file and I'm still just gripped. I don't feel overwhelmed. I don't feel lost. I can actually build connections with menial characters. Chitu
mhm,
was hilarious.
yeah.
Like it yeah, but it's just I love what Oda has done, but I think in terms of world building, he's done a masterful job, but Tagashi he just ain't finished it yet. I think the only reason
I
anyone
ain't ready at all.
he just
And
ain't
that's the
finished it
fact
yet.
that I want to see him finish it because the same way you saying your excitement for him, what he's done in 400 and some chapters, is with Oda and a
Same
thousand.
thing for One Piece.
I'm like,
Same
bro,
thing for One Piece. Because I
how are you?
expressed that in the video
There you go.
in
Yeah, you
the
did.
where I recap that. It's
You
like,
capped it right. It's like how
boy,
it's been.
you jam a lot.
It's been 1,000 and some chapters, right? And I'll even be fair in saying like yeah, in some arcs we have it, which been the knock by people that may not like the series as much or other individuals. Is like the arcs start and progress the same way, but there's something to be said that
It
when you
works.
know and wait, I get there when an arc starts and progresses the same way, you still love the arc because my question is always this: but did you like the arc? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But see,
That,
right? My
go
my
ahead.
issue with
Uh
that
huh.
is that
Yes.
all that is
Go
you
ahead.
playing it safe. Like
I don't
you
think so at
sticking to
all.
your formula because it works. But
I don't.
I would respect you
No.
more if you
Okay.
were
Go
to
ahead.
try something different and you actually stick that land. And that's what Togashi did with
Mm-hmm.
Hunter. Every arc is different. Every
Completely.
arc is
Fail.
different.
Completely.
Fail. Fail. I agree with you. Then fail.
And playing it safe
But
isn't
I was.
bad.
I know.
Playing it
Yeah,
I'm.
safe
it's not a
definitely
bad
isn't
I'm
thing. It's
gonna
bad.
not a
get.
bad thing.
But
I just
here's.
saying that
No.
I
No.
just saying that
That argument is fail.
it's not as impressive. It's not you're not
Mm-hmm.
showing
I disagree
your true
to an extent. I
testament as
disagree.
a writer if you playing it safe. Like
Here's
you're just
why.
taking the easy road out, in my opinion, which is
Here's why I
fine. But
disagree. Sorry.
yeah,
Uh, But here's why I disagree a bit, right? There's something to be said about you, and for the most part, while I think they do start and progress the same, I don't think one arc is the same. However, there's something to be said of whereas you can do something like that and people not get stale of it. Because even if it works for you, and even if that
Mm-hmm.
formula is nice, people will still get tired and stale and be like, oh, this. No, that doesn't happen.
Very true.
People
Very
Hmm.
is still
true.
excited. You introduce new characters, you introduce new aspects of this vast world, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm with it. And here's the difference for me too as well. Add to that why I think this is and I don't think you can do this with everything. This is why I think you can only do this for something like One Piece. Because
Mm-hmm.
of the premise and what the story is about. This is you going from island to island as pirates on a journey to get to this one singular point. So
Mm-hmm.
in regards to that, yeah, it's gonna be like we come, we scuba the island. Oh, what's good with and the character of Luffy. All right, it's the same way with Gon, and it's like, oh, I befriend you. Well, I go ride with you. What you need to do when we go rock out, Luffy? Oh, you all feed me. You all good to me. That dude giving you all trouble. Say less. Yo, let's go. We got this. I
Mm-hmm.
can handle this for you. But it's something to be said that every time I enjoy it. I come out even more amazed. I come out even
Mm-hmm.
more impressed. They do something that catches my eye. There's something that they learn. There's growth from the characters. The world is expounded. I'm expounded upon. I'm like, yeah, it may
Mm-hmm.
be the same, but so what? There's like I've seen many things that operate in the same space, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
it's getting tiresome now. Like I don't want to see this
Yeah.
anymore. No, I don't have that feeling with One Piece. I don't have
Yeah.
that at all with One Piece, and that's why I think even with that, Oda is still really great. Like in his writing, he's still really great because he's able
Mm-hmm.
to still captivate you and
Yeah.
keep you interested in something, and even if you know they're going to be certain and similar beats.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
don't think
don't.
that's about him at all.
I don't think there's a knock against either side there.
No,
I
not
think
absolutely
I
not.
think I think that aspect comes down to more of a personal preference or like a
Mm-hmm.
refined, not even a really refined eye, but like a specific type of eye. Like me, I'm actually a writer. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why whenever I describe One Piece to people, since it's fresh, since a
Yeah.
lot of people ask me about it, why it's my number one, the first thing I tell them is it's the most well written story, or it's the best story I've ever read. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
always tell them. I don't say it's the best manga. I don't say it's the best anime. I say it's the best story because I do
Hmm.
respect the fact that yes, he can repeat a cycle and innovate it each time to the point where you it still feels like a fresh
It's
story.
hard.
But
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
critically, from a writing aspect, the fact that Togashi can go from something like the Hunter exam to Heaven's Arena to
Facts.
Greed
Facts.
Island to
I
like vastly different types of stories, vastly different storylines, vastly different character arcs. And each one still not only pushes the story forward, but
yeah.
presents new ideas and new developments and just new characters, new things to think about, new information to digest, and he sticks the landing each time. A
No
lot of
doubt.
like for me personally, I was a part of the crowd where I was like, yeah, but just skip Greed Island. I used to say that a lot when I first ran through Hunter x Hunter.
Hunter. Hunter.
But
Yeah.
All right.
circling back to it with an appreciation for what Greed Island actually was, and then connecting it to the full story overall, it's like, bro, if we had two or three more arcs, I'm sure people would have a greater appreciation for Greed Island because we'd have more worldly context.
Yeah.
No, no, no. You're right. And I'll even to add more praise to Hunter, right? And it's so funny. I before this rewatch, this was going to be more of a let me tell you why One Piece is a superior manga.
Uh,
But no, no, it definitely like there's appreciation to be had for both series. But for some, this is for someone who recently like who watched Hunter a while, but they're more of a casual anime space of thing. But when I
Mm.
told them I was watching it, so it's like they said the hunter you get at the start of the series and the end of the series are so totally different. So it goes back to your point of how we started with the hunter exam and where we progressed to. You would never guess that would be the progression.
Look
That
how
and that
long
I
it took us to find out
never
about
give.
Nen.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. That's
Mm-hmm.
true. That's true. And there was a slow education into what Nen was. It wasn't a
Yep.
direct like, boom, here have it.
They didn't throw everything on us at
No, they're
once.
like, boom,
And we
boom, here
still
have
don't
it.
know everything. We still
No,
Yeah.
we still don't even fully understand the Nen beasts.
no, no,
Mm-hmm.
no, no.
And they're a core
Mm-hmm.
part of the current arc. It's
Yes, they
just
are.
I also I also want to say, Oda doesn't get, at least in my opinion, enough love for his addition of hockey as well. Because
very true.
think about when hockey was added. Up to that point, we only knew devil fruits. We knew the
Yep.
different
Yeah.
devil fruits. We knew, Logia, Primicia, right, and,
Right?
and all of that. We knew that was we thought that was it. We thought that was it. The crew separated. Luffy needed to get stronger. What happened? Let me tell you about this thing called hockey. And that opened a vast, vast world. It's like, oh, there's real levels to this. And that's why I appreciated the journey. And it's just, and again, going back, two similar people. As I get further into the Grand Line, things get a little tougher. People who here supposed to be here, it's like the Heavens Arena. I get the floor 200. This is a different place. People
Mm-hmm.
up here know how to use certain things. I gotta get
Mm-hmm.
right. I crossed into the Grand Line. Wait, dudes over here know how to use hockey. They combined it with their devil fruit. Hold on, what's going on here? This a different ball game now. We talking
Mm-hmm.
something totally different. Now the scaling is now adding up, even to the point we see the difference between the Yonkos, the warlords, the art. Like we know there are levels, and I always appreciated Oda for that because we spent so much time just knowing one aspect, and then one day he released, okay, now it's time to really show you
Mm-hmm.
all this is indeed a big world, and this is and more things are here now. It's like no, no, no. Them I introduced you to the Emperor. Now let me really show you all the Emperors. Oh, Luffy learned hockey, learn how to do this thing. Now we think, oh, Luffy got this. No, let me introduce you to the category. Let me show you what this man about. Oh, what you this big mom about. Oh, I enter into Wano. What Kaido just eat flies? I ain't ready for that. No, Kaido. Okay, let me take out my
Mm-hmm.
bot and show you. No, I here for a reason. And
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oda doesn't get enough love when it comes to his own power scaling, and I think he needs to be commended for that because he has done it
He
beautifully. He has done it
he
beautifully. Even when our main characters take a leap, he
uh
still shows like, no, you have a way to go. There's a way for you to go. It's just not, and I appreciate that. And that's another shout into that I think he's able to just do away with. It's like, no, you just don't get the power up, and now it's good. No, I've been here for a while. You have to work towards it. You got to do some things, and that's why I don't feel any arc is the same because during this arc they get introduced, they get met with an obstacle. They come out with development, and we see struggle that happens. What I don't even have to talk. I don't even have to. One of those people. I don't even gotta talk about one.
well,
What we
let me
Wano, this ain't the same One Piece. That's see. Okay, now I really started up now. I
let
really
me
started up now.
let me add on. Let me
Go on,
kind
go
of
ahead.
let me add on, but from the from Tagashi's perspective. Now, this
Mhm.
isn't pushback to what you said
No, no,
because
no.
Oda
Yeah,
absolutely
Javon, you ain't
deserves
wrong. You ain't wrong at
everything.
all, Javon. You ain't wrong.
Mhm.
Oda deserves everything for the level of thought and creativity he put into his power system.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, because it's amazing when you look at the devil fruits alone, the creativity needed for how they could be used, how they could be implemented, what they could do, and then stacking haki on top of that with three types of haki.
There you go.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's an amazing feat of detail and creativity And what Tagashi does is, I feel, slightly a step above, because he not only has that detail and creativity,
Fair, fair.
but he almost restricts himself to force himself to really think out the story. So the fact that he put actual numbers, like a scaling with a chart for each of the
Mhm.
special types, and you have the ability to do every other type aside from specialist,
Mhm.
but your profinity for that type is determined based on the one that you're naturally aligned to. And then the
Yeah.
creativity that people can use when they go deeper into their natural affinity. Like, Kurapika is such a fucking cheat code that can still be killed. It's ridiculous. It's
Mhm.
ridiculous when you think about what he can do just with, because naturally he's a conjurer, but the fact that his clan has a special ability that
Already,
allows him
and
to switch to a specialist
Yeah.
and then have full access to all of these others as
mm,
well. So someone that he clearly has no chance in a straight up fight against. He he brought a shovel to the fight with
I
Uvoje.
said this yesterday. I said this yesterday to
Like
someone. I
like
legit said the same thing.
the fact that this power system allows for, if you're creative and ingenious and your will is strong
Mhm.
enough, because that
Your
same
will.
will which plays so heavily into
Into
hockey
right
plays heavily,
into
super
the net.
heavily into Nen, to the point where it
Your Ren,
could activate
your Ren.
post-death abilities.
Bruh,
So
you know who would scare me in the current arc? And I didn't realize it until I actually like gone back. Nick. This nigga
Sarajnik is
master Nan in
terrifying. He's
7 days,
terrifying.
dog.
He's terrifying.
7 days.
He's
And he
terrifying. He
unconsciously
manifested his
developed one
own
of the
Nen
most
beast, boy.
broken Nen abilities, bro.
He
Oh
manifested
my
his own Nen
god.
beast and didn't even know it.
Exactly, man.
He has two
I
Nen
agree.
beasts. He has future sight. He mastered things that took geniuses days,
Yeah.
months
He
probably
he
to pick up
mastered
on.
10, ran and Zetsu. Gone in, master that. In it take gone months to master that. Months.
Oh yeah. We see it there. And Gohan himself is a genius.
Exact, bro.
That's the thing. Gohan himself is a
Saragnik could
genius.
be a problem.
Sarajnik is an issue. You
He
know,
is a
you know
problem.
who, you know, you know who died next, right? In Sarajnik camp, you know who died
Yeah,
next?
yeah, yeah.
She ain't gonna
You know
last
what else
long.
is crazy? She was
She
holding him
ain't gonna
back
last long.
too. She was holding him
She
back too.
the re- she could
Like,
get catch because
bro.
she realized Sarajnik is a problem.
Yeah,
But it's too late. It's too late. It's
yeah.
too late. It's too
Oh
late. That's
man.
another body. That's another
Yeah,
That's
body.
another funny.
That's
Oh my god.
another
yeah.
body.
But
It's so the just what he established with Nen, how it works, how it can
oh no, yeah, absolutely.
fluctuate, how the
Absolutely.
fluidity that it has, the abilities, that the fact that Gon is an enhancer and he's mastered 3 specific types just because they branch off of enhancements, so he could do emission and what else he had? He had emission for hand, and
Yeah,
then that was manipulation with the scissors
yeah,
aid.
yeah,
So like, and if you just make you can make a covenant
There's
with
more
the power
branches.
to just
Yeah,
like
there's
there's
rules.
more
There's
branches. There are more
rules.
however strict your covenant is, the stronger the ability. Like, bro,
Hmm.
it's just that's a step of that. Like,
No, I
Oda is
agree.
amazing, but that's definitely a
No,
step
I
that
agree.
I don't think anyone else could take. Bro.
Because
That's
with
what.
Togashi,
That's why I love it because like there's like I said, there's rules. Like Togashi,
yeah.
he lets characters do things that are like ridiculously overpowered, but at the end of the day, there's always a drawback, and it's a dire drawback.
Mm-hmm.
Because with Kurapika, like he only could use those chains against the spider. If
Mm-hmm.
he used it on anybody else, they could kill him.
Emperor time slowly kills him.
Exactly. Then with
Mm,
So like,
Gon was able to achieve that power because he threw his life away. He literally say, I don't need to live anymore. I just want to kill this nigga and that's it.
I'm like, that was the key going. That was the key. All right, here you go. You got what you
Yeah.
got. Yeah, but no, that's what I'm gonna say with Togashi. I agree. That's a fair assessment. It still is above because he is implemented in a way to where it's still anyone can be beat, regardless of who you
Anyone.
may be or
Yeah.
what amazing name you may have. Anyone can be beaten, and that actually made me go back and realize like, oh, certain other manga authors is like, oh, you def you definitely pulled this from Dagashi in terms of how
Mm,
you wanted to construct your power system.
mm,
Horikoshi, and I've always said about Horikoshi. And when it comes to My Hero Academia and his world, he's created quirks in a way it's like you may have this amazing quirk, but there can be someone that has a natural that is the natural enemy to your quirk. So no matter how amazing it may be, you can still be beaten. No matter how it may look like your quirk may not be as useful, you are the one that is dependent on how useful your quirk is. So you can tell and you can tell it pulls. He's definitely inspired a lot of power systems, and where it's not just simply, oh, once you reach this plateau, no one else can get you. No, it's like you can reach the plateau, but you can still be beaten. Like I just need the right. If I come with the right formula, you can be beaten. Like there's no
yep.
answer or to that. So I always
That's
commend it.
why I am watching Bakugo being down right now. I watching that.
We ain't
I
into that.
watching the.
We ain't into that. We ain't getting that. We ain't getting that. But all right, so we're an hour in, and I know Leroy has to get to another engagement with he has a stream that's coming up pretty
We got a
soon.
little bit more. We got a little bit more time.
All right,
We got a little
moderate.
bit
All
more
right, all right.
time.
So that means I can ask a question that's been bubbling in my head. Who has your favorite arcs overall? One Piece or Hunter x Hunter? Which arc? Which series had the arc that left the biggest impression on
Um, See, that is gonna lean more towards One Piece because there's definitely more significant emotional ties
you?
to them
Hmm.
because it naturally progresses as a more personal story. Like you feel like you're a part of it as opposed to just an
Hmm.
observer of the
Yeah.
story. So it's naturally gonna lean more towards Oda, I feel, in that sense. Because
Okay.
when I think about the arcs themselves, when I look if I assess it as what I personally like more, the first things that pop in my mind is the emotions that I felt or the thoughts that I had, how long the arc or the ending of the arc sat with me, how
Mhm.
impactful it was for me overall. And a lot of that is tied to the emotion. But if I critically look at each one, if I assess the work itself outside of my feeling, just what was presented to me, how it was crafted and how it was designed, it would lean more towards Tagashi, I'd have to say.
Okay. Okay.
It's the same for me too, because I think in terms of like in the moment feelings, because I didn't fully grasp everything with some of the arcs and Hunter right away.
Mm.
So for me, I'd say Marineford was probably like the one that leave the most impact on me because Ace is my
Mm,
favorite character first of all. So you know
mm.
that fucked me up when he died.
That's
So
tragic.
yeah,
Can't even eat donuts no more. That's
I
crazy.
swear to
exactly,
you.
bro. Exactly, though. So
Wow, that's damn.
yeah, but like you said, if I think it critically as to what
Uh-huh.
it did, like the writing, the themes, and
Yeah.
where the character started and ended, and then in terms of like the duality between characters like Meruem and Gon, like Chimera and Doc would be that arc for me.
Mm.
Mm.
That's what I expected you to say. That's what I expected you to say.
Yeah,
Uh,
so my
especially
answer is the same as Leroy. He was spot on, spot on.
I I do think it's similar in terms of construction, whereas for the emotion. But oof.
Water 7
Very
Ennis
good.
Lobby, York new. Just throwing that out there.
You must. I was about to say Water Seven. Water
Water 7
Seven.
Ennis Lobby,
Water
York new.
Seven. And I about to say in its lobby. I'd have to go. That left the probably the biggest.
And his lobby is up there.
That
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 is
had
up
the
there.
left that left the biggest impression on me. I will
For
not
me,
lie.
that's they them
I will
that and Marine Corps is still the two best arcs in my opinion.
One Piece? No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I do think Wano is pretty
As
close,
much as I like Wano, there's some
personally.
problems. There
Really?
are some problems.
What are your problems?
The pacing, first of all. Um, I
Well,
feel
okay,
like
okay. All right, go ahead.
I feel like a lot of the side characters they didn't. There wasn't anything that nuanced. Well, let me not say the scabbards because I think the scabbards had decent development
Uh-huh.
for what they had. But in terms of like people in Kaido crew, like I didn't really get that type of development, that type of characterization that I was expecting from them. I
Mm-hmm.
think the only one in that crew I actually felt something for was King, and
Yep.
that's because the whole racism thing
Fair,
with it and stuff
fair,
like that, and
fair,
how he
fair,
went out too. I love how he went out. I love that. So yeah,
fair.
Mm-hmm.
apart from him, like I didn't really give a shit about any of the antagonists. Um, in terms of Kaido, I felt like the build up for him wasn't
Wasn't matched.
excluding his power, the build up for his character didn't deliver for me.
I agree with
Really?
that too. I agree with that too
Mm.
because
So
I
So
feel like what
so was it? Sorry,
Oda
go ahead.
missed out on there. What Oda
Uh-huh.
missed out on there was actually fleshing out more of. And I said this to Vaughn too. I think you was there when we talked about this when Vaughn had mentioned that Wano was one of his top arcs, and I said Kaido just they didn't deliver enough on Kaido. With the other
mhm,
arcs, we had more detail into the mindset and the mentality of the people. Why do they
yeah,
do this? What is his
yeah,
motivations? Like we get some hints like yeah, he here for Pluton or yeah, he but why is he a drunk? Why what is his search for Joy Boy?
I got
He
you. All right.
wasn't fleshed out nearly as much as any of the other antagonists that I've seen
yeah,
so far.
Fair.
So it's like all of this finally getting up to here to just punch him in the ground, and now we pushing out. It was it
Fair.
yeah,
was it was it was a lot of build up, and it was an amazing arc. But it's just certain plot points didn't the payoff didn't match the build up.
yeah. I
Fair.
also didn't like
Fair.
that we had to watch Luffy get beat down 3 times before he went. Like, I get the point. I understand the Kaido was this
Okay.
strong,
I was
but
gonna
he
say
really
I don't
Oda
really
really
mind.
dragged that out for way too long.
I mean, I again, I think for me
it,
that goes back to showing that there's still a difference here, because
yeah,
if we honestly look at it, Luffy didn't have a win for a long time until that that Kaido arc,
boy.
because he didn't
If
beat Kurapika. I mean, I say Kurapika. He didn't beat Katakuri. He
Yeah,
boy,
allowed him to win because he gained his respect. They didn't really
yeah,
beat Big Mom, and then they went into Wano, and like you said, he got beat down from Kaido. Like Luffy was taking some real L's. Like he was out here really taking, pun intended, he was really taking
mhm.
some L's out there and like getting washed until he had the awakening for his devil fruit, which is
I
another
so
aspect,
thankful for Gear 5 because I
which
was
is another
skeptical. Like
aspect of the
I
power
couldn't
scaling
see
and
how
power
Luffy was
scaling.
gonna beat this nigga up, but
no way,
thankfully
no
Yeah,
Gear
way.
5 makes sense.
That
Thankfully that makes
before
sense.
before Gear Fifth, that raid fail theory made so much sense to me, boy. I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
but there's no way. There's no way. There's no
yeah,
no,
way. There's
yeah,
yeah, there's
absolutely no
absolutely no
way.
way. It was nothing
yeah.
like you could at that point, which then
And
allowed.
realistically, if you look at it, I think me and Vaughn was just talking about this yesterday too. If Kaido was fresh when Luffy came with a fresh gear fit,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Luffy was
Mm,
winning.
that's
Javon,
true
remember
because
what I said you all in the group the other day?
I don't
Remember what I
think
said?
Luffy
Yo,
was
some
winning.
no,
people was
I
doing a top 5, top 10 character
yeah
by
yeah yeah.
power, and they had Kaido in number 2, and Luffy was like 5 or 6 or something like that. I just was like, bro, what? But not, but then the guy was like, if Kaido was fresh, he think Luffy
If
wasn't gonna
Kaido
beat him.
was
Yeah, because
fresh,
no,
Luffy was
think
getting
about no. I
washed.
agree because at a certain point, I was like, yo, they still fighting. I I
Think
do
about
think
how
I
many
do
people
think
jumped
Kaido.
Kaido in that one fight, but
Yeah,
It's
you're right.
true.
You're right. You're
It's
right. You're right.
true. Fresh Kaido might have been like,
like
yo,
Luffy get knocked out like twice, so he was sleeping for half of the fight.
so that's
Yeah,
Kaido
rest.
still up knocking niggas. Like,
Oh man, that's an excellent point, bro. Kind
boy,
of
Yeah,
man, look at it
fight
say, I'm happy
Yamato,
for you. I'm happy
Zoro,
that you
like
found your real
Law,
devil fruit.
Kid,
But let me show you
like,
something.
boy,
everybody.
It's true. But to the point of not learning about Kaido in this arc, like, I agree. Honestly, I agree to a thing, but that kind of makes me feel as though we've not seen the last of Kaido. So now when they
exactly.
take this,
You
when they
think you
take this
think he's
next,
alive?
Him and Big Mom,
absolutely,
him and
absolutely,
Big Mom,
I
absolutely,
could see
absolutely.
Big Mom being alive, but kind I don't know
absolutely.
about Kyle. I don't know.
especially
I
Yes,
now
don't
that
know.
but yes,
especially
but
now that Oda has
there's
told them
no.
that they're going to go into more of the explanation in terms of like the whole city with Laugh Tale and everything like that, and then adding in Kaido's desire to find joy. I fully believe we're going to get much more of there, and then
I
that's where we're going
also
to get the
Boy, that would be
explanations
one of
surrounding.
Oda's
But I agree
biggest
with you.
fumbles if Kaido just died from some fucking
No,
magma.
no,
I
That
hope
would
so.
be
I
that would
really hope
be
you're alright.
Kaido.
I
that
really
would
hope
be
you're
one of
alright.
his
I can't.
biggest
I
fumbles, boy.
can't. As no, just as seeing how Oda is written to this point, I can't see it. Not like that.
It
Not
don't
like
make
that.
sense.
When
It
he's
just don't
done
make sense.
debts, he's done debts. Like
Yeah,
it's
but you
not just
need
been
if you
because I
want to
need you to
die,
die.
you need a bomb. That's the only way to
Bam.
confirm a kill. You need a
No,
bomb.
no, like exactly. We've seen it. We've seen it with
Yeah,
Ace, Whitebeard, and a whole lot of other individuals. Like the
yeah.
debt is going to be that. So no, I don't
Boy,
I don't
One Piece
particularly
bombs 2 for
with
3
that.
right now. One Piece bombs 2 for
True,
3 right now.
it's true,
One
Not
it's
Piece
true,
wrong.
bombs are
it's
2 for
true,
3.
it's true, it's true, it's true, it's true, it's true,
Mm,
it's true.
Pell slide by some plot, but boy, bombs are 2 for 3 right now.
No, no, I don't. Yeah, no. Ain't much that happening. I don't think there's much happening in this next arc or this next progression of One Piece. But no, I am definitely on that note too. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Oda eventually release these chapters and see where that goes. Especially because
Absolutely.
I saw Kurapika, and Kurapika is my favorite of the series. So it's like, so if I see Kurapika, I know
That man in so
something's
much shit right now. That man
yeah,
is
man.
something's
so deep.
He,
something's
He
going to
in
happen.
so deep right
I
now.
scared for him, man.
He in
I
so deep
scared.
right. It's terrifying.
Nah,
It's terrifying.
if I
Because
meet Kurapika, that
somebody
I,
brought this up. They were
uh,
saying that they wouldn't be surprised if Kurapika was to die somehow from these princes
I,
because
I am not reading this. Mark
one thing
mark this
Togashi
down.
like to do
Uh,
is revert our expectations basically. And the work that he been doing with Kurolo recently as well in regards to humanizing him a bit more. Him and
mm,
Kurapika they are not different, you know.
They
As
very
people
similar. They are
they
very
yeah,
very
similar.
yeah,
similar.
They
yeah,
very
And
yeah.
similar.
and
Vengeance. That's the whole reason they on the boat.
exactly.
I don't agree.
Hisoka picking them apart right now.
Hey,
So
you 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 heard the theory about how Ahsoka on the boat?
disguised as Illumi.
That's some shit.
That makes sense, mate. That
I
makes sense.
believe it,
I
wait. I
believe.
That
believe
makes
it.
Oh
sense.
I
Lord,
That
believe
makes
it.
sense. That
I
I
makes sense.
believe it.
he
I
would be
I
scared, man.
absolutely believe
on the
it.
boat, bro.
Boy, it's
I
a
don't.
scary time right
Mark my
now. That
There's
words.
boat.
couple of them spiders. I
And
don't want to see them
on
die.
this on this podcast,
Oh
episode
my god.
41 at 112:56, if Kurapika dies, I'm not reading this series
He could die
anymore.
protecting that young prince.
I am not reading this
Yeah, man.
series anymore.
That
He could
Mark
baby.
die
my
protecting
word.
that young prince.
That would
And
be.
the
That
only
poor
I will be
baby.
spiders,
opting out.
let me see, the only spiders who probably could survive, Franklin could dead for sure.
Yeah.
Machi might survive, and I only say that because
They little
Hisoka
cool.
didn't kill her the
They
first
little cool.
Yeah,
time.
Yeah. Yeah. They
He
little
didn't
cool.
kill. If he's could kill her, she would have been dead.
A lot
So the
that.
fact that
Yeah.
he ain't kill her already, I think she could survive. Um, I, this rematch with Krollo could be nasty. This
Nasty.
rematch with Krollo could be nasty because he need help. He need help, bro. The fact that Krollo had to strategically plan the entire arena to fight this one man, and he is
Yeah.
strong now,
Yeah.
and he's stronger now. It's no, but look.
Postmortem net ain't failed me.
Let me
That's
Say
not
what?
fair.
Post yet?
Postmortem net.
bottom Nen is what?
No, it ain't fair for real. It
Look,
That
ain't.
is not
and
fair.
this man coming with the simplest of concepts. It has the properties of both rubber and gum. That's
Yeah.
it. This man with rubber and gum is
There we
solo
go.
in your
There
squad.
we go with the
He is
similarities again.
solo in your squad. Boy, it's a scary time on that boat, boy.
It definitely is a scary
I
time, and
really
an excited
scared for
time as well.
Kurapika, boy.
I need the first volume of this. I need the first volume of these release chapters expeditiously. But before we wrap this up, discussion in the board, I want to know, especially from you, El, because you know you were heavy on both sides.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, let's say both series come to their proper
Mhm.
conclusion in your eyes, right now on this
Mhm.
podcast.
Boy,
Who
see,
ends? Who ends with the better finale?
I can't
Who comes
answer
with the
that.
better? Mm.
I can't answer that
Okay,
All
because
okay.
right,
One
all
I
right,
Piece
all right.
has
Okay. All right.
the reason I can't answer that is
Uh,
because One Piece has a conclusion that I can envision ahead of time.
yeah.
There's absolutely no way. I have absolutely no
No
fucking
clue. No
clue
clue. No
what
clue.
Tagashi have in his head right now. We could guess,
Exactly.
like
all
we
right.
could with Oda,
Okay.
with what he's given us so far. He's given us enough content for us to still like uh, 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 ideate and try to figure out. Okay, well, it's gonna go in this general direction. We know what the end goal here is. It's gonna end when he finds the One Piece. So everything in
Hmm.
between there's like, okay, this could happen, this could happen,
And
this
as
could
Oda
happen,
decides, like
this has to happen.
he wants to throw the big swerve on us and ends in a different way. But you know, I know you're right. You're right. You're right. You're
But
right.
it's a
You
finite,
see it.
it's
You
a
see it.
it's
Yeah.
an imaginably finite amount of possibilities with One
Yeah.
Piece.
Okay.
Right now, we don't even know what the Dark Continent look like, boy. We don't
Javon, I
even,
literally just say we don't even know what Gon gonna do.
Fair.
boy,
We
Fair. You
don't
know
know
what?
what he want to do with his life
boy,
now.
I got to revisit this question again. I have to revisit this question,
boy.
especially after the chapters are released. I'm gonna revisit this
We
question
don't know
again.
what
But
Nanika is. We don't know about any of the plagues, the
But
nitro
the five
rice,
it's
calamities,
true.
bro,
but
It's true.
it's
It's
crazy.
true.
like,
It's
It's
too
and the
true.
thing
crazy.
is, they ain't even planning on going. Like, this is a fake voyage, so we don't even know if they could end up on the Dark Continent, really,
Hmm.
because they supposed to go through the gate, but they apparently have another way to
I mean,
get
I
there.
see
And
Oda drawing. I mean, not Oda. I mean, I see Dagashi drawing a bunch of forests. So we don't know. We don't know.
that could
It
be
looks
any
more.
shore.
That could be.
That could
That's
Yeah,
be
true.
any
that
It's
could
true.
be
shore.
anything at this point. Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
So
Okay.
there, I can't,
All right.
like, I
So
can't
I'll just
genuinely
switch it
answer
up.
that
Let
because
me
it's way too much to
let me
imagine.
switch it up. I feel like I know Omar answer this, but you can answer this. You can answer it as well. But
Uh-huh.
whatever. As of right now, if you're
Mhm.
ranking One Piece and Hunter x Hunter, where do they land on you for the scale? On the scale of what you've watched?
One Piece, Hanana.
Okay, okay. The very slight
And
edge.
the only tip over is the emotional investment. The only tip over, I would say, is the
Uh,
emotional investment. Because if I just logically assess it, if I just critically assess it, it's gonna have to be Tagashi and not close. But what Oda was able to do with his craft, with the creativity, with the world building, the character development, the ensemble of the cast of antagonists, protagonists, the gray area people, the progression of the story, like you can't question it. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing writing,
okay.
and the emotional tie on top of that is like a multiplier for everything that he established. So
Mhm.
everything feels elevated. So yeah, it's like they touching like
You know what?
One
Fair.
Piece, Hunter x Hunter.
Fair. After my rewatch, well, I'm still on the rewatch because I plan to go from all the way to the end. It's close for me too. I still have One Piece over the top. However, I will say this, and this is my final probably. Well, I never really said this to say to backtrack or anything, but it's my final salute to Hunter x Hunter. I do love Gone more as a cat as an MC that I do.
I'm shocked. I'm
I will
very shocked.
do love Gone more as an
Cause,
MC. Than
cause for me, I
I
feel
can.
like I like Luffy slightly more. I just respect Gon
Oh
more than Luffy
really?
because of the writer. Yeah,
Wow! Wow!
Yeah, I
That's
just
interesting. That's
I
interesting.
think Gon is the better written character. But who I like more, I like Luffy more.
I feel like that's a different discussion for today because I do feel that while I do agree with some things, I do feel like there's a bit of an exaggeration when it comes to Luffy as a written character. But no, yeah, I'll definitely say I connect and resonate more with Gon as a character than
Mhm.
Luffy. I find more enjoyment as him as the lead
You say
character.
you resonate with Gon? Javon, you suck it.
Listen,
But that's concerning.
That's very concerning.
I
If you resonate
say, hey,
if you resonate with that potentially sadistic young
hey,
man,
I say, hey, listen. I'm neither confirming or denying anything. I'm just saying I prefer going as a main MC than I do Luffy.
boy.
That's it. Hey, that's it. That's it.
Mm-mm.
But
All
Mm-mm.
right.
I assume Omar, did you have Hunter? Well, I mean, I want to assume. I figured that's
Oh
pretty
well,
clear
if
over on
we
Piece.
just comparing these two, or you mean you want to know where both of them fall in general with my shonen scale?
For you, I'll say that because I feel like I already know that Hunter for you is above One Piece,
Yeah,
but
Hunter
scale
over One Piece for
in
me
your
because
shonen scale where you have them landing.
like I I look at them from just in terms of critical thinking, in terms of writing. I'm putting
Uh-huh.
emotional events within it and all, and that's why I say
Uh,
Hunter is the best.
Mm,
But
yeah.
if I were to include emotional attachment, I would put One Piece over it slightly, and that's only because there's more characters in One Piece that I emotionally attached to than in Hunter.
uh-huh. Okay.
But like, I could also say that Killua is a character that I am more emotionally attached to anybody in One Piece.
Facts.
Really,
Yeah,
Facts.
I can see
like
why.
his character arc is masterful.
His
Like it's
growth is
just
It
amazing.
is, and then no, I would out of the I guess the one B characters, Killua is one. Killua's progression is similar to Bakugo's for me in terms of it's done very well in terms of you're seeing a shift in personality and a shift of their thinking and the way that they interact with individuals in the story and the way they go about doing the things that they do. I
the
definitely
trauma,
think the
the
trauma. Yeah,
trauma, bro,
yeah,
the
yeah,
trauma.
yeah. It's true. It's true. So now I'll definitely give that. I'll give you that. I'll give you that with Killua. But all right. So that brings us to the end of a very good discussion. One that I feel it's going to happen again sometime down the line in the future, especially when we get Hunter back.
Boy,
With these 20
these
chapters
20
or more, who
chapters,
knows? Or I mean, Tagashi may
It
be in
could
his
be more
mind.
too.
it
It
could be
could
Tagashi
be
may
more
more.
be
too.
in his mind,
Okay,
which is
he
it's
been pretty consistent.
he
Yep.
has
He looked like
he
he find a nice comfortable
he
position.
Yeah.
listen, he does. He has seemed like he has found a really comfortable position and has just been drawing, just been going about his day. So it's like I commend, like I say again, once again, I say on the podcast, I commend him for that because I know his condition and I know that's not easy. So I
Hmm.
commend him for not only committing to 10, but giving us 20. Um, which is gonna, I mean, even if it's just 20, he gives it, it's gonna
I
last for a
scared, bro.
while.
I
It's gonna
scared with this
last.
one, man.
Like
I
20,
scared.
that's a lot of chapters, and like we know,
No
traditionally with
way.
Tagashi will
It's a
fit.
lot of
He will
reading.
use his
It's
speech
a
bubble.
lot of reading.
Tagashi
It's a
will use
lot of
his speech. So
reading.
that 20
Look
is a
here.
lot.
Look here.
That 20
Hana
is a
Hana
lot.
ain't for you if you don't like to read, buddy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hana ain't for you if you don't like to read. Cause he have to explain everything. Like
Yeah.
he
No,
has to flesh these things out.
Ain't no plot
Even in
holes
the
on this
wait,
one.
no.
No plot
even
holes
in
on
the
this one.
anime, even
Yeah.
in the anime, you notice the presence of the fucking announcer who explaining the shit, everything
Oh no,
going in
Yeah.
slow motion, panning as he explains everything
yeah,
going on,
Yeah.
and you
Tagashi gonna
still
have to
could
read.
be lost, and you still could be lost,
Bro,
Yeah.
listen to me.
bro.
Between Tagashi and Gegi for Jujutsu Kaisen, I don't know who is right or wrong, but
Yeah,
Boy,
man.
Tagashi gonna make you read. And so
Gigi,
that 20,
Gigi, Gigi is doing some other shit sometimes. So I,
But yeah,
I
that's what
know
he
what he
is.
doing.
That's what is immaculate, and I can't wait, especially now considering
Boy,
that
it
we're
have to be.
entering into the final arc. Well,
Have
final
to be.
arcs. Who knows? Because we have 3 to 5 years of One Piece left.
Hmm.
Whatever order eventually lands on, but it's gonna be good to have both series back at a very crucial time for them. So it's
What a time.
expect a lot of excitement. Exactly.
What
If
a
you're a
time.
fan of both or a fan of either, expect a ton of excitement to unfold. So definitely looking forward to that. But until then, that brings us to the end of episode 41 of the Otaku Summit podcast. Once again, thank you, Leroy, for coming on the pod and holding Bay Entertainment down with us and coming to discuss some One Piece and some Hunter x Hunter.
Much
Uh,
appreciated.
yeah, much at this point,
Anytime. My two favorite topics.
at this point, you found me in the pod. So, whenever you want to come back on, feel free.
Say
Let a nigga know.
less. Say
We never scared to
less.
talk anime on this podcast. So
Say
until then, everybody,
less.
you know the deal. You know the deal. So last time, for like last time, at the end of every pod, we end with a traditional poof, the sound off everything, and to completely solidify the episode. So as always, check us out on Twitter, Instagram, the Solid YouTube page, on SoundCloud, as well as TikTok. And come holler at your boys and girls in the Discord as well. And we will be linking everything by entertainment related when this episode is updated. So obviously, go show them some love. Until we meet again, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. This has been the Otaku Summit, and we are out.